My question is, how much resilience can you expect your hair to have? How many times is it going to bounce back from that? How many times? How many times can you expect the hair to be resilient when it's withstanding the same level of stress again and again and again and again? It's just like the body. How long can you go without sleep before you develop a health condition? How long is the body able to bring your glucose levels down to something that is acceptable before you become insulin resistant, before you become diabetes type 1, type 2, or type 3? How long is it going to be before your body is no longer responding with the release of insulin, and the glucose levels are remaining high before it develops into something else? You gotta pay attention to the warning signs. You gotta pay attention to the signs that let you know when you are experiencing low-grade thinning or hair loss, so that you can jump on an intervention right away, and you do not wait because you don't have time.
Welcome to Tunisia's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri, the channel where we get it all in. You can also learn more about the I Am Melanin Magic brand. Thank you for stopping by.
Greetings! Welcome to Tunisia's Locks, Beauty Tips, and Potpourri, and Unti and Bahor as well. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel, welcome to the channel. Before I even dig into this video, and it's a very important one today, I want to say thank you to all of my OGs, to all of my subscribers, and to all of you all who support the brand. I really appreciate you supporting the channel. I love it when you show up in the comments and you let me know your thoughts. I love it when you give the videos thumbs up. It shows support for me. It keeps me motivated to bring you quality content. Please feel free to put anything in the comment section that you want me to talk about, whether it's sister locks, micro locks, whatever it is, now knotted locks, whatever it is, just put it in the comment section. And as I begin to peruse them over time, I'll keep that in mind and try to indulge your requests. So let's go ahead and get into the topic. Now, today we're talking about how to know when your locks are thinning. Now, I don't have traditional locks. All I can talk about are the smaller locks. People who might benefit from this video may be people that have sister locks, micro locks, any kind of tiny lock or any kind of small lock, how to know when they start to thin. This is very important. I'll be talking to you about this based upon my own experiences and some of the anecdotes that you all have shared with me over time. You all know I've had my sister locks. I had my sister locks for 13 years. I've only had knotted locks for the last couple of years. And trying to stave off thinning and potential problems that I felt, my personal opinion, that I felt were impending, all right, were things that caused me to transition to something that I felt was going to be better for me at this stage of my journey. Would I have done it 5 years ago? No way. Would I have been ready to do it even 4 years ago when I first started the channel? No. So we're evolving. We make choices in a timely fashion based upon just-in-time information and whatever else it is that causes us to go in a particular direction. So what I want to do is arm you today with the information that you need to help yourself make a wise decision as to what intervention to take, because there are so many interventions. And I want to talk about that first. Cutting the locks off, lengthening your retightenings, starting to do your own retightenings, using the magical hair growth serum or the fearless follicles and root revitalizer, and the regular blend, believe it or not, which has helped countless thousands of you here on this channel. Okay, cutting your locks to take some of the weight off. If you have extensions, getting them out. Starting to supplement your diet, making sure you're drinking enough water, making sure you're healthy, having a series of tests run to make sure that you're in a balanced hormonal profile, beginning to supplement, adding more sulfur to your diet. Sulfur comes from eggs, salmon. It's in the water that I go all the way to the well to get, that I've been drinking only that water. As you all know, for the last 3 years in May, I don't drink any other water unless I have to get on the plane and fly somewhere. I can't take my water with me, and my body knows the difference. But making sure that you're taking every possible precaution to make sure that you're putting quality water in your temple. And also, if you're dealing with that type of stuff, you might want to start even washing your hair with quality water, or getting an ionizer machine where you can use alkaline water, which is really, really good for the hair. Now, if you have sores and lesions, acidic water is going to be good for your hair. Hell, you can get that out right out of Fuji water. Is very acidic. I remember testing Fuji water. Some of the more high-end waters that were so-called better off, they're not even at the neutral level. They're not even at a level like what's coming out of your sink. They're actually acidic, like soda. So the effect that those things have on your body is not good. So if you're drinking water like Fuji water and you haven't gotten you some alkaline water drops, and begin or pH strips and test your water, you need to test your water because you need to be getting high quality water. All right, those are just some of the basic things that you can do. It may come down to changing your Loctician. It may come down to literally, for some of you, cutting all of your locks off, all of them, and then beginning to re-energize and restore your hair's health by using supplements, other things that I've talked about, and growing your hair back and then trying it again, but doing it different this time. It may take you combining a lot of locks, but if you have massive thinning or thinning that is happening all over, combining your locks may not be the best idea, and there are a lot of reasons behind that. It may take you transitioning to traditional locks, and in that way combining your locks, not necessarily marrying 2 or 3 of them to keep them looking like thinner locks, but actually switching to something other than using the tool, getting away from the grid. There are a lot of things that you can do, but this video here is designed to help you to notice when your locks start to thin, because you know what? I have found that that can be the trickiest damn thing. And you know why? Because you're looking at your locks. If you're like me and many others of you, you're looking at your locks all the time, and then one day you're like, this looks a little different. I know I split this lock. I know these locks are thinner than all the other locks on my head, but something is drawing your attention to the lock and you just can't put your finger on it. Ding, 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 ding. Before we dig in, I want to take a short few minutes to share with you one of the many successes that the Magical Hair Growth Serum is having. Jimmy here was a difficult to heal hair loss client who had had hair loss for over 10 years and was never able, no matter what he tried, to get that hair to actually grow back. After using the Magical Hair Growth Serum for a short 8-week period, this is what he was able to achieve. He plans to continue using the Magical Hair Growth Serum. Something is drawing your attention to a particular lock that seems to look thinner, although you can't objectively say beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is. You can't really tell, but you just know it doesn't quite look the same, or you think, if I had seen this a while ago, I probably would have noticed it. So something has changed, but you can't put your finger on it. That's the first way. That should bring the red flag up and cause you to begin to start looking. At which time you start going through your hair, you're looking at all the locks. Okay, a second way you can determine if your locks are thinning is to look at other locks around the lock that is suspect. So you find a lock and you're like, I can't really tell. You can't really tell. So then you begin to inspect the other 3 or 4 locks that are neighbors, that are in the vicinity. And you start to say, ooh, these look like kind of strange as well. That's another way that you can start to tell, okay? When you begin to call it under question, that is when you clamp down on those locks and you start to pay attention to what is going on with those locks. Now, the sad thing is, by the time you get to that point, the thinning, more than likely, not all the time, has already started. And it is subtly moving through the weaker areas of your hair. I'm going to say it just like that. It's subtly moving through areas that were already a little bit lower in density than the majority of your hair. Because you can have, most people think I have high density hair. I do not. These were thin density hair here. The ones at the very back, at the very, very back, especially in the middle of the nape of my neck, those were always low density, even in the very beginning, before I even started my Sisterlocks journey. That's why at a certain point in my journey, I said, you know what? I need to take over these locks. I need to know what's going on with these locks, because these are going to be the first locks to turn my ship upside down, which is going to turn my world upside down, and we're not going to have that. So I decided to take proactive measures. So you start to look in all of the areas where your hair is typically thinner and not as thick. Now my hair is super thick up here. My locks are different sizes. Even the knots now that I use that are knotted locks. So you can't even tell, y'all got 3 knots here. Look at that. They're as thin as this. So I can't wait to see how these develop. Y'all see that? And these were knots that I put in that I deliberately left a little space between, because I want to see how these develop versus the ones that are resting up against each other. And then I do them at different times, because remember, I got to be able to scientifically look at things and see how they develop so that I can share with you what might be a potentiality, because everybody's hair is different. Your hair is not going to look like mine no matter what. Even if you came out of the same uterus, your hair is not going to look like mine, and mine is not going to look like yours, and so forth and so on. So you begin to look at other areas where you suspect thinning. You start to pay attention. Like I said, pay attention may mean you take those 3 locks together, 4 locks or whatever, and you plait them up. You put a little something on them. Or maybe you do them like this. Y'all have a lot of things y'all may say, oh, that's not healthy, you shouldn't do. Don't worry about that. I'm not that type of person. I'm not that type of person. I'm a maverick. I exist as an outlier outside of all kinds of processes. So I try all different types of things. So I'm going to identify those locks. So I'm going to identify that lock, and I'm going to start to pay attention to it over time. And then I'm going to begin to notice when you get your retightenings, how your hair feels after a retightening, because this is going to be another way that you're going to know if your locks are thinning, is if your retightening sessions are painful, or if they make your hair very sore. If they make your hair sore at all, it's a problem. But if your hair is sore several hours after you've gotten the retightening, if it's sore into the next day or 2 or 3 days later, you know that you're potentially putting your locks at risk. I'm just going to tell you like it is. It's one thing for me to do like this, and I feel that, ouch, ouch. It's another thing for me to do like this and be in this kind of pain for a whole day and think that my fearless follicles are going to be able to withstand this follicle assault. It ain't going to happen. It might happen in the first year or 2. You may can withstand in the second year, 2 or 3, but by the continuum, as you go further down that journey, your hair is going to start to protest. And then you're going to start feeling some kind of way, because you're going to know, man, I've been sitting up in that chair for all this time, and my locks been thinning, and I had to bring this to my loctician's attention. And then at that time, you may be thinking, why am I the one to have to bring it to her attention? Is she not paying attention to my hair, or does she see it and not communicate it to me? Does she not feel like it's her responsibility? Does she not give a darn? Or is she not invested in the long-term health of my hair, or does she think I'm sitting up in here for fun? Like, you're going to start to wonder what is the reason, and you may start to feel some kind of way, because you then next are going to ask her, what should you do? And 9 out of 10 of them are not going to say, I think it has something to do with my retightenings. 9 out of 10 of them are going to say, oh, you may have a dermatological issue. I think you need to see a trichologist, or I think you need to go and see a dermatologist. They're going to say everything except, I've been working on your hair, doing your retightenings every 4 to 8 weeks, and they've been tight, and you've been crying about the tension, or you've been complaining about the tension, and I've been telling you you're tender-headed, and you've been losing hair, or it's been getting thinner, and I've been having to combine locks or not, but it has nothing to do with me. That's what's going to make you red. That's going to make you an angry bird. That's why I tell you, inspect, inspect, inspect what you expect, because by the time you're in that chair, in that hot seat, you're already in problems. It's like Denzel said in Devil in a Blue Dress. Every morning you wake up, you're in problems. It's just a matter of if you're at the top of it or at the bottom of it. To me, it's like by the time you realize that, it's like being thirsty. The medical professionals will tell you by the time you feel the thirst, your body is already dehydrated. Something is already occurring at a deeper level that is going to continue unless you arrest the situation. Now, thankfully, God has created a healing machine that when we take the pressure off something, usually it can rebound. But some follicles can take up to 4 years to repair themselves, if they're even able to regenerate. That's an alarming statistic, but it means you have to be patient. And if it's about taking the stress off your hair or giving your hair some supplementation whether it's the magical hair growth serum that I produce or something else that you get from somewhere else that works for you. You're going to have to use that consistently over time to build up the strength of your hair. So at this point, you're paying attention to retightenings, and you are noticing if your hair feels sore. If your hair feels sore quite frequently, then you have to assume and you have to conclude beyond a shadow of a doubt that your hair is suffering. And if your hair is suffering, the only thing that is going to happen is you're going to start to experience hair loss. Another way to tell if you have thinning hair is if your hair feels dry and brittle. It's interesting because when I talk with Melissa, she is very shocked at some of the women that come to her, and she will say their hair looks dry. It looks, no, not dry, it looks hot. Like the sense, the energetic sense of what is going on with their hair, she can see it and feel it energetically. So the hair is brittle, it's dry, the hair doesn't have a sheen, it's scalpy, like it's in dire straits by the time they come to have a dialogue with her. So if your hair is dry looking, if it doesn't look healthy, if you have a flaking scalp, whether it is the bacteria that causes the scalp to flake, which is dandruff, or whether it's a flaky scalp because of dry scalp, whatever it is, if you're having those problems with your scalp and your hair does not look healthy, expect thinning to occur. Bar none, 100%. It's just a matter of time. Healthy scalp, healthy hair. You know how they say happy house, happy wife, happy house? Healthy scalp, healthy hair. It's important. You got to address it. Now, let's say you start to notice thinning at different parts of the lock. That can happen. It's not necessarily can be attributed to the retightenings, although it can. If your hair began to thin out at the root, and then you continue retightening, your hair bounces back, it starts to grow, it's resilient, you continue retightening, you're going to see, and you can sort of get a sense of how many months back your locks were thinning, and then they rebounded, perhaps because your hair is still growing in that area and it's resilient. My question is, how much resilience can you expect your hair to have? How many times is it going to bounce back from that? How many times? How many times can you expect the hair to be resilient when it's withstanding the same level of stress again and again and again and again? It's just like the body. How long can you go without sleep before you develop a health condition? How long is the body able to bring your glucose levels down to something that is acceptable before you become insulin resistant, before you become diabetes type 1, type 2, or type 3? How long is it going to be before your body is no longer responding with the release of insulin, and the glucose levels are remaining high before it develops into something else? You gotta pay attention to the warning signs. You gotta pay attention to the signs that let you know when you are experiencing low-grade thinning or hair loss, so that you can jump on an intervention right away. And you do not wait because you don't have time. You have to arrest. You have to do a rescue mission. You cannot wait. You cannot keep going into that Loctician and she's not saying anything and you're not doing anything, or she's telling you to take some vitamin B12 or some folic acid. That ain't gonna do it. You've got to be vigilant, and as you hear me say always, you've got to be an active participant, y'all, in what? In your own rescue. So this is when you have to recognize that when you start to see your scalp and you look at your hair and it doesn't look healthy, it's not healthy. You can look at my hair anytime and you're going to see shiny hair. Not shiny because I use the oil, but shiny without the oil, because my scalp is healthy. My hair is healthy. I've been using I Am Melanin Magic. I've been making it for damn near 11, 12 years. So my hair is going to look healthy. Now, I've dyed and dyed and dyed and dyed. So my ends don't look all that shiny, but if I put the stuff on them, they're going to look, they don't look unhealthy. They don't look dry. They don't feel dry. This time they don't feel dry with the Vidal Sassoon, and I really can't account for that because my hair has gotten hard over the years. And maybe that's because I only did it one time. I said I wasn't going to do it anymore for 3 years. And then I put it in a couple weeks ago. And so it's not like I've done it repeatedly, and my hair has been thriving when I wasn't dyeing it. really shouldn't, but I need color, y'all. I need color in my life. Can't you tell? I need color in my life. So you got to pay attention. So the lock is thinning somewhere within the lock, but it has rebounded, which is why you have a thin section. Okay. Also, that can happen from you doing things like what I do. I pick at my locks all the time. I take them out. I stick them out. They look a certain way. And when you're taking it out, of course, you're thinning the lock out and da-da-da. I keep my ends open because I like the curly ends. When I wet my hair, the ends get curly. I like all that. I do all that. Do I recommend that for you? No. No, no, no. I pick at my locks sometimes with, the doggone tweezers. Sometimes I go too far. Don't do it, Celie. Don't do it. I go a little bit too far. That's my thing. Okay, my hair is resilient. It bounces back. And for me, I don't need, like, y'all know I'm not in the box. I'm not OCD when it comes to things related to my locks. So I like to try different things. I like to see what I can figure out about my hair care journey. I'm not scared to touch my hair. All right. So those are some really red flags. Now, when you can look at a lock and you see that the lock is very thick and the root, which stabilizes it, seems too thin for the lock, that's a telltale sign that something's going on. When you look at your hair and you're able to see more scalp than you recall in the past, you look at your hair like this and you're like, you know what? I remember I used to be able to do this, and I don't remember seeing all that scalp in there. Or you're up here, which is an area where a lot of people experience hair loss, and you're like, you know what the heck? You're feeling less. And then you notice somewhere along your journey that your loctician has been marrying your locks. Or maybe she told you she was marrying your locks. Well, then you have to decide, did she marry my locks because I had too many of them and she didn't want to take the time to keep them individual locks, or did she marry them because she was trying to stave off thinning? Okay, now you got to look at, y'all, this whole thinning thing that we have begun to think is a natural process. You're sitting up here in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you're in your menopause, and even if you were, menopause hits everybody differently. My mom never lost a piece of her hair during menopause. Both my grandmothers went to their grave with heads full of hair. So, I mean, denser than mine, so I ain't buying that. You know, and there are things that people can do. I'm not saying that that's not going to happen to you or that won't be a collective experience. What I'm saying is it's like we accept the common cold and we say, oh, I hadn't had a cold in a year. But according to my guy, having a cold, you should never get a cold if you're really healthy. It's like when we go to the doctors. By the time we find out something is wrong, it would have showed up with the Reiki practitioner or with an energetic doctor or an alternative doctor long before the machines could pick it up. The body's been getting sick long before someone was able to see it. So we come to accept that certain things are normal. We come to accept that a lock or two that's thinning is normal without asking, why is that lock thinning? What caused that lock to thin? Maybe I need to start paying attention. So clearly when you start to see more scalpiness, your locks are thinning, and you need to be mindful of the common areas where thinning can occur or the common areas where you actually are having stress. Once you start to see the scalpiness, you start to realize it's happening across the board. Another way that your locks can really thin is if you're dyeing often or you've used bleach to lighten the level of your color by a certain number, or you went up levels 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, and you've gotten really blonde hair so that you could put another color on it that would take and be bright. You got to be careful with that, because for a lot of people that'll cause thinning locks, especially if you're doing it at the tips, it can just cause the tips to fall off. If you're doing it from the root, it can cause the lock to just come out at the root, or it can just cause sporadic thinning or intermittent thinning throughout your locks. So being mindful of this and knowing the warning signs is key. If you touch your hair, you're in your scalp and it feels very dry and you hear a lot of cracking and you got a lot of marrying and tangling going on and all of that, the scalp is very flaky and dry, there's no sheen, you know that the scalp seems, your hair seems thirsty, you can bet that you're getting ready to, if you keep going down the same path and not doing anything different, you're going to start to experience some thinning. If, like I said, it hurts, if you're going to frequent retightenings, to me, a frequent retightening is 4 to 6 weeks. This is controversial. It'll continue to be controversial until you keep going every 4 to 6 weeks, and then you come back 3 or 4 years from now to watch these videos and you're like, I should have listened. When you're going to retightenings that often, hair has nothing but to do, but your hair has nothing to do but to cave in. So if you're doing retightenings that often, rest assured that you're going to get to a point where you're going to experience thinning. You're also going to experience thinning if you are someone that is grid obsessive. If you're OCD, obsessive compulsive about the grid, and somebody's grooming your locks and you're letting them clip them and they're putting gel on them and they're doing all this crazy stuff that you know does not make sense or doesn't feel good when you see them doing it, and maybe they're using a tool that you don't particularly like and you know you feel it catching a snag on your hair, or they're moving so fast through your hair because they need it to be under 3 hours so they can get the next client in, and they're pulling your hair apart and you hear it breaking, all of that, and you don't do anything about it, you're going to be forced to do something about it, because no doubt it's going to lead to thinning. So I hope that this video has helped you. Please go to Amazon and get my Manifesting Your Masterpiece book. Check me out on IamMelaninMagic.com so that you can check out some of the wonderful things that I have on that site to help you feminize, energize, and romanticize, and clear the energy in your environment and purify your space. If you're one of the sisters out there who's trying to get back into your feminine energy and you're trying to do it at a lot of different levels of your life, this is one of the ways you can do it, and that is to check out some of the handmade natural resins and incense that I make to help clear your energy. To shout out to Cosetta, who meditates and does her studying. She said it just puts her in a state where she's able to study better, and just, you know, many of you have talked a lot about it, and I want to put some of your testimonies on the channel, but you can get my information there. You can go to the HidayahReiki.com website if you need some energy clearing, if you need to raise your vibration, if you need to address particular chakra imbalances. Distance energy is non-local. You'll feel the same thing from a distance as you'll feel if you were in my office, which I'll be shutting down officially after, I don't know, 8 years now. There's no reason. I haven't been in there in 2 years, but I've been kind of just keeping it open, but I'm going to be shutting it down because everything now for me has gone fully online. If you're looking for spiritual guidance by way of channeling or an intuitive tarot and oracle messages, you can go to my Hidayah Reiki website. If you're looking to raise your mindset and take my prosperity mindset course or my tarot course, you can go to butterfly transformations at teachable.com. That also is in the description. You can connect with me there. There are a lot of ways to connect with me. I appreciate you all. I'll continue to bring you timely and fruitful, I hope, information regarding your small lock, micro lock, sister lock, knotted lock journey as long as I'm alive. And this is what I feel the creator has called me to. This is what I will be doing. So in the comment section, please give back to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Do not come here and watch and send a signal back to the universe that you are not going to give back. Give back. It takes a second to do a thumbs up. I know I watch, there are a few really good people out there that I resonate with, and sometimes I have to be reminded to like the video because I can actually forget, and I'm getting value from the video, but it's not something that you're always conscious of. So this is a reminder. Put in the comment section, if you made it to the end, a yellow heart. Put in the comment section what other videos you would like to see me make regarding your journey. Also, contact me 678-438-6442 by text only. Please do not call. By text only. My phone is just too busy. Remember, I have a few different businesses. I can't take phone calls. Text me if you want to set up a time to share your particular story on YouTube and you're not afraid of the camera. There are a lot of people in our demographic, and this doesn't include everyone, but there are a lot of people in our demographic who are not comfortable getting in front of a camera. And I want to bring you out of seclusion, and I want to welcome you to come on the channel and to talk and to share your stories, because You have insight, you have experiences. Some of you have gone through things and have found a remedy to them that other sisters on the channel need. I can't tell you guys the heartbreaking stories that we have on this channel with people experiencing various levels of disillusion with regard to the journey and not able to get help from their very locticians, the people that they entrust their hair to. You oftentimes are the outlet, so please be willing to contact me, come on the channel, share your story, and enlighten the minds into intellectual curiosity and a spiritual wellness. I say to you, the light in me honors the light in you. Thank you again, and I will see you for the next video.
If you are not using Melanin Magic hair oil, then what are you using?
Hi, I'm the creator of the I Am Melanin Magic skin and hair care brand. The I Am Melanin Magic hair oil is our premier product. It is the leading high-end supplement for your mane.
It reduces breakage and promotes growth and can be used on all hair types and looks, from straightened hair and microlocks to wigs and protective styles. It's antifungal, antibacterial, and it's anti-funk, so you know you're protected.
It softens and conditions your hair, and it's anti-frizz too.
Hey guys, so I started using this oil called I Am Melanin Magic since February of this year, and check out the new growth. Like, it's insane. Not only did it help with my new growth, but it smells amazing too.
See the dramatic improvements Denisha has made after not having hair around her edges for 3 years. Tanya's hair had been like this for almost 20 years, and while getting injections. Her doctor said it was scarred and would never grow back. After 4 weeks of using I Am Melanin Magic, this is what she looked like. I Am Melanin Magic did this to Danette's hair after a short time.
This is really all your hair needs. It's rich with antioxidants, loaded with growth-promoting ingredients. Look at the growth of my hair. It's amazing. The product speaks for itself. Order yours today and don't delay. Don't delay. Purchase yours today.
I Am Melanin Magic,
And so are you.